And now I've pressed the record button. And on the word of autocomplete, the recording is now live, and we will leave it to our listening audience to figure out what in the world we were talking about, because we're just not going to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. Hello, welcome to Cause and Effect. This is a homebrew Dungeons & Dragons campaign. My name is Crash. I will be your DM/GM, depending on who you're talking to for the evening, or when you're talking to them. Tonight, I'm joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Beth, Ellie, Io, Jen, and we may or may not hear a Neff as well, if she feels like she wants to interject. But anyway, we're being audited. Everyone,
for class credit or
for upper management, they are in attendance. Hey! I'm the GM. I'm the one who does the evil laugh.
Not with that attitude. I practice my evil laugh too.
Your game is tomorrow, and yours is the horror.
That's why I'm practicing. It is not a horror game. It's got Sith apprentices in it.
Sith apprentice.
It's a horror game for someone.
Yes, and we're the monsters.
No, you've been murderating the monsters. Anyway, that's tomorrow.
But any game that has Sith in it, the Sith are usually the monsters.
But you're Sith accountants.
That kind of just compounds it.
I think so, yes.
That's
okay,
fair. My favor, not yours, for this conversation. Anyway, that's not the game we're playing tonight. Although I could give each of you a plasma sword if I really wanted to.
Hobby would like a plasma sword.
Technically, I've got these mind daggers. They're kind of like plasma swords, except they're not swords, and they're not plasma. But other than that, A is very proud of himself for thinking of that. Anyway.
Fair enough.
So, what happened last session?
We had a party.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
You did have a party.
We had a party.
Chadrick, the paladin of partying, had a party. It was the intermission episode, so he could do that without having to worry about, causing problems. As I recall, there was a roll for him to get drunk, and he failed.
And he failed.
By which I mean he succeeded.
Yes.
He succeeded the roll, which means he did not get drunk.
Right.
And that gave him a price.
He was very distraught by this.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was very saddening for him.
Yes. Even trying to do the religion check didn't work for that because the roll was too high. But other things took place. What did everyone else do?
I sang very well.
Yes, the last roll in Foundry happens to be your Nat 20 performance skill check, which, if I remember correctly, was a Tears for Fears cover.
Yes, I believe it was.
We were doing deception. I think we were trying. Oh, that's right.
You were
playing cards.
Playing cards, yeah.
Yes, Go Fish.
A, the kobold,
with
doesn't understand poker, so you were playing Go Fish, and A made a card tower. And I think I'm pretty sure it was Hobby that won. I could be wrong about that, though. I'd have to go back and listen to the episode, and I haven't edited that one yet.
I think we were playing poker earlier, and Hobby was trying to sneak chips into A's pile.
Yes. Somebody told A that the goal of poker is to get rid of all the chips. Whoever has the most loses. So A would sleight of hand their own poker chips into other people's piles to win faster. Because A is a very good
little guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will never stop being amused that A technically doesn't have a name and is still just a lettered kobold that was supposed to be cannon fodder from episode 1. But now if I kill off A, you will all riot.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that Hobby is still fairly sure that A is going to shank them all someday.
I mean, you did kill all of A's clan except for 2 kobolds.
One of whom ran off and may or may not become a problem later.
Oh, you've already met them again. Oops, sorry, I said the quiet part out loud. Anyway.
Have we? It's concerning. All right.
Moving on, or crab walking sideways, whichever way we're going. Whichever way we are going. You also had a conversation about what your next quest would be, because right now you're in a holding pattern for finding Sclerora Springweather or more of the killer robot things and all that. So what do you do in your free time? Well, you are in an adventuring guild. So you looked at the quest hub and you picked a quest called Find Marwise. No, the real Marwise this time. And the reasoning for that particular quest is because a gnome named Fiddlepunch Ironwrench, who I introduced in the first campaign, actually, but never mind about that.
I remember.
Yes, I introduced Marwise in the first campaign also, but that wasn't the real Marwise. That was an ancient green dragon disguised as Marwise. The real Marwise had been polymorphed into a chicken and hidden in a portable hole. And these are words that
I'm pretty sure that's not the right name.
Marwise? Right, was it someone else?
Oh, yeah.
Marwise was Cindy's character.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
that's
right. Marwood.
Marwood.
Yes. They have the same nickname.
Autocomplete.
Really confusing at parties.
Autocomplete.
Autocomplete. Renaming tonight's episode to Autocomplete.
Sure.
Yes. So yes, Marwood was a very old elf who had a fascination with astronomy, not astrology. Would be very quick to tell you those are very different things. And that's how he befriended Fiddlepunch, because Fiddlepunch had a fascination with building telescopes. So, hey, that worked out pretty well. Except the real Marwood was polymorphed into a chicken and stuffed into a portable hole. And that went on for a while. It's fine. Well, it turned out being fine because a ragtag band of adventurers killed that ancient green dragon. Somebody else opened up the portable hole. A chicken came out, turned into Marwood. He said thanks and disappeared. And none of you heard anything about that because that was Tom's character, Punk. And Punk isn't really a sharing kind of person.
Right.
No. So it's known that Marwood is alive, but Fiddlepunch hasn't been able to find Marwood. And this is something that you've heard about from the member services section of your Adventurers Guild. So that's why the quest is out there, and the quest is named that way specifically because before it was named that way, people would do a bare minimum researching, say, oh, hey, good news, Marwood was actually fake. Marwood was this ancient green dragon. Good news, we found Marwood. He was an ancient green dragon. He's dead. Give us the reward money. And Fiddlepunch would stare at them for a few seconds and then say, no, try again. And they'd say, this quest is too hard and go do something else. Yes.
Lazy.
So your first stop is going to be to find Fiddlepunch in order to have a conversation with him about what to do next. Because he's got more information. He'll have more updated information than has been delivered to member services when he stopped by to deliver this quest.
Time for more data.
All right. So there is, I'm going to say there is a jump cut to you're all in front of. Your first inclination is that it's a wizard's tower. It's surrounded by mountains. There is a little lake over to the side. There's a nice little winding path that goes up to it. There's bear traps everywhere except for the path. Some of them appear to be moving.
Oh,
but the top of the
my
tower
armor happened to come in before. Sorry, I didn't realize I was interrupting you.
Oh, please continue.
I was going to ask, did my armor come in before we left?
Yes. My assumption is that you've had your long rest. Anyone who had a hangover has recovered from it. Chadrick will not have a hangover because Chadrick did not manage to get drunk, despite his best efforts. And now his failure is complete. Thank you, I'm here all week. And not just because it's Saturday. So, Tex is now fully armed and operational. And fully armored and operational. Both of those is correct.
Indeed.
But fully armed just means the two arms, because otherwise Tex would be a biblically accurate Warforged.
No, that would be with the eyes.
Which is funnier because canonically Tex doesn't have a face.
Details.
Oh, I love this game. So at the top of this tower is actually a giant dome with a telescope poking out of one side of it. And because it's a gnomish telescope, of course it doesn't poke out in a straight line. It has a few right angles that make you wonder why. The reason is aesthetics. The reason is always aesthetics.
Because that's why. I guess we knock.
All right, there is a door knocker. When you knock, there is something likely magical. Actually, no, this is a gnome that's involved, so possibly mechanical in nature, that amplifies it so you feel the vibration of the knock in your chest cavity.
Woo!
That's a little odd.
That is like really convenient. I think I saw the pond over there ripple.
Just as long as nothing's creeping up on us.
Oh, you don't need to worry about it. The Swobold's practice in there. What?
Concerning.
But you didn't know about the Swobold dojo that got set up? I forget his name, but there's this one Swobold who he went in and he vanquished a whole bunch of monsters in there. There used to be a dragon's lair, but then he set it up so that they could all like lift weights and stuff, and none of you heard this story.
Shakehead, no.
Huh. I thought that was common knowledge.
Maybe it is now.
Anyway, as A is saying anyway, a little slider opens up maybe 3/4 of the way up the door, and two eyes that are covered in goggles poke out. Hello? Who's there?
We're supposed to get information about your quest.
We're a ragtag band of adventurers.
Fantastic! I love ragtag bands of adventurers. Provided you're not here to tell me that Marwood was an ancient green dragon, are you?
No.
No, we've heard about that.
You know that
love
part.
ragtag bands of adventurers. By the way, these eyes are, if Tex had eyes on her faceplate, these eyes are level with where Tex's eyes would be. One second, and the little window slides shut, and you hear like 15 locks being undone, a lot of gears turning. And then the door opens up, and there is a gnome on stilts. There's like 3 different motors attached to the stilts. 2 on the left leg, 1 on the right.
Huh.
Interesting.
Come in. Can I get you anything? Coffee? Tea?
Catnip
Motor
tea?
oil?
Maybe some of that.
A plum floating in perfume in a man's hat.
Unfortunately, I am...
That is not canon.
I'm fresh out. You see, I've eaten the plums that I was keeping in the icebox.
So cold, so sweet. So sweet, so cold. One of those.
I have to eat them almost immediately after I put them in there, or someone comes in and writes a poem. It gets really annoying very quickly. That's also why all the locks are here.
I can see how that would be a thing.
Yeah. Okay, so you're taken to the kitchen, which is 2 floors up, and on the walk up, for the first flight of stairs, Fiddle Punch doesn't go up. The stilts get shorter until Fiddle Punch is at regular height for Fiddle Punch, and then he walks the rest of the way up.
Intriguing.
Well, I only really need these for like lifting things up really high, or looking through that hole in the door. So the rest of this place was built for my height.
Hobby is fine with this. If other people have to sink down, Hobby can just go on all fours, and she's a cat.
Well, there's some things in like the ceilings are high enough that medium-sized humanoids can be just fine. Tex has to duck just a teeny little bit underneath the supporting rafters, but depending on where Tex chooses to stand, Tex does not need to crouch down at all. You just need to walk left and right, not forward. Or there might be a clonk. A clonk, not a cronk. There's no one pulling levers here but Fiddle Punch. And maybe A, unless you stop A from pulling that lever over there. It's very tempting, to be honest. So, while refreshments are served, and for the record, A will have 12 sugars and 3 drops of tea. It's crunchier that way. Look, if you're
a little bit of tea-flavored sugar.
If you're a kobold, that means you're constantly growing teeth, which means you don't have to worry about dentist visits, which means you don't have to worry about cavities, and you can chew on all the sugar you want. It's a speed boost.
Chewing on sugars is fine. You just have to brush your teeth eventually afterwards.
Not kobolds. They just lose them and grow new ones. They're sharks. They are land sharks. Except for the moon ones. Those are moon sharks.
Right.
I love that my game has moon kobolds now.
It does.
Anyway. Yeah. So here's the deal.
understandably, Marwood is likely incredibly paranoid. You would be too under the same circumstances, I'm sure. So it's been really hard to get a hold of him. Can't even scry him. So
You're
I'm working with.
sure still alive?
I can't go into the details beyond saying I know a guy who knows a god.
Okay.
Yes. So I've been working with my friend Ari, Aristobulus, but whatever. Very talented scrying wizard. And we devised a system of inverse scrying, not reverse scrying. That's different. This is inverse scrying.
Uh-huh.
I assume from most of the silence that you're all just staring at Fiddle Punch when he says this and looks at you all like
Inverse
you're supposed to understand.
scrying. Not reverse scrying, so it's not showing someone else where you are. It's
Where people aren't?
Actually, that would have been a better definition for inverse scrying, but we didn't workshop it, so never mind about that. Look, can't find Marwood because wherever Marwood is, it's heavily warded against scrying. So what we did instead was, instead of looking for Marwood, we're looking for anywhere we can't see. Blind spots.
Seems like you'd have some false positives, but okay.
Lots of false.
That's why you need adventurers.
A significant number of false.
In fairness, a relatively small number of false positives, it's much better than the extremely large number of true negatives that you would get from searching for places that you can see where Marwood isn't.
Fiddle Punch points at Tex and says,
Yes, exactly that. Whatever you just said. So, we've been going at this for about
You need some.
5 years now. But I'm pretty sure we're narrowing it down. I'm not asking you to keep checking on these until you find Marwood. I'm asking you to check one location. You get a reward whether or not Marwood is there. It is, and Fiddle Punch pulls out a map and rolls it out on the table. It covers up 2 coffee cups and a teacup, which may or may not have been used by the players. A then puts their teacup back down on top of the map because A was holding the teacup at the time. So now A has created a map sandwich between the saucer and the teacup. This is fun. It's helping to hold the map open.
Sure.
It is a map of Circulus, which means if it's on the table, you don't have a whole lot of details because it's showing an entire freaking continent.
Right here.
And Fiddle Punch pokes at a spot that looks like it's just water north of the continent of Circulus, so fairly close to the equator.
Oh, wet.
Oh, no.
Well, not that.
I suppose we're going on a boat.
Fiddle Punch moves his finger, and you see there is actually a dot that was underneath the finger.
Technically right there. And
Still in the middle of the ocean.
yes, and you will need to be on a boat because not only is this place warded against scrying, it's warded against teleportation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Found that out. But that is a bit more promising because it's more secure, so it's more likely that Marwood, being incredibly old, powerful, and paranoid, might be interested in being in that spot. What's even more intriguing is this. And he pulls out what appears to be a very detailed drawing of an aerial view of a small island
Oh, less wet.
with a tower in the middle of it.
Oh, good.
Ah,
And Fiddle Punch again realizes that he has put his finger on the exact thing he's trying to point out to you, moves the finger again, and you see a little white spot. I've got some friends on the moon who are also into long-range photo capturing. And yeah, that little spot right there, you know what that is?
Shake head, no.
A lens flare.
Oh.
That right there is likely a telescope.
Oh,
I see.
Now, that doesn't mean that it's definitely Marwood there, because a lot of wizards like looking at stars. A significant number. There was a club. I think Balthomax ate half of them, but, never mind about that.
well, that was rude.
Yeah. but technically most of them are toxic, so.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand.
Toxic.
Well, they kept insisting that a dwarf planetoid was supposed to be a planet just because they liked its name. Whatever.
I suppose that dragons do have ways of dealing with things.
Yes, and we did have a way of dealing with the dragon eventually. Anyway, I can get you the coordinates for the boat, and I guess you can go and see if Marwood is there.
All right.
And
as long as I don't have to swim.
Oh, you will. There is a 87.35% chance you will not have to swim.
Not too bad then.
Yeah, last I checked, that was the accuracy of the teleportation apparatus that your guild uses. So, should be fine.
Oh.
I wouldn't worry because I'm not going.
Maybe we should get a boat to be in when they teleport us.
That seems like a good idea.
As you're saying this, A is finished reading off the coordinates to member services.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And
Well, it was nice to see you, and goodbye.
And the room is now empty except for Fiddle Punch, and you are all on a boat, except for Hobby, who is, you know how, like, there's the mast of the boat, and then there's the cross piece that goes horizontally. I do not know ship terminology at all, but it's going off the edge of the boat, and there may or may not be a tabaxi with limbs wrapped around that part, digging deep gouges into it.
That's fine. That's fine. There's such a thing as a ship's cat. That's what the claws are for. Everything is fine. We're all fine here.
There is a smell of salt and sea spray. The humidity is soaking into your undercoat.
I will shed on everything when I get the chance.
And the ship is not right next to the island because the warding was a bit more powerful than that, but the island is in sight. And it doesn't take too long for the crew, who I have not named or given backstories to.
So don't adopt them?
Every single one of them is named Bobbert.
There's old Bobbert and tall Bobbert and young Bobbert and Bobbert the Third. And
they don't have a ship's cat. They have a ship's snake. The ship's snake is called Long Bobbert. It's silver in color. I like how that's more than one joke. But in any case, yes, exactly. They do manage to, after a couple hours, get you to a decent distance from the island, and then they give you a longboat because wizard towers freak them the heck out.
Okay.
Which
is it a boat? Is it a boat that the Warforged can get in without sinking?
It's a longboat, so it does go down in, like, the waterline comes up a lot on the sides as the Warforged get in, but it doesn't go over the sides.
I suspect that Cavil is flying.
Of course Cavil is flying. Cavil has turquoise Converse sneakers of flying.
Yes.
I
Why
mean,
would Cavil not be flying?
Cavil may be flying up to give Hobby a hand down.
Hobby probably was able to inch along, and
then Cavil will not be flying because Cavil would like to keep the same frame of reference to the boat as everyone else.
I'm sure it's fine.
All you have to do is hold on to someone's hand as you're being, towed along, and yeah.
All right, here comes the scene change.
Oh.
That is a tower.
That is, in fact, a tower. And you can tell it's a wizard's tower because the middle fell off.
Yeah.
Just
the middle.
And the rest of the tower is still there.
Yes. Inexplicably upright. Well, we can explain why it's still upright. A wizard did it. But good news, that looks to be a rope ladder connecting the top half and the bottom half. It should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, your characters are on the map twice. I put them on over on the side so you'd be able to see the side view of the whole tower. I figure if you're approaching it in a longboat, you'd be able to see the whole side of it. But also in the lower left corner, your characters are there also.
Okay.
And Hobby is already moving around. You stepped on my foot.
I'm just, it's bopping me back and forth depending on when I'm priced. Right. Okay. I should be able to see both of me at the same time, or else the screen goes back and forth.
Oh, wow.
Well, actually, at this point, I might be able to just do...
Delete the top ones.
Boop.
Yeah. It grays it out, but I see it still.
Yeah. You should still be able... And we hear the sound effects of Hobby in the distance.
We hear this. You have to understand how loud he is. He is in the kitchen. He is. Oh, now he's here. Okay, but he was like 20 feet away. This little cat.
You are not paying attention to me and giving me treats and head pats.
I think it's mostly the cuddles. Here, Dickens, you can sit on my chest.
What, the Dickens?
The Dickens.
That joke will never be old for me. Okay. So, you are at the foot of this tower. I have showed you the whole floor because I could not be bothered to make individual walls for each of the rooms. Also, the front door is open. Not just ajar. It's a full-on keg. It is wide open. And there appear to be double doors on the other side of this little mudroom area that are also wide open. Possibly wider open because one of them appears to be hanging by a single hinge. Okay. Actually, a single nail holding the single hinge, which is holding the door.
Well, whoever lives here has opinions about maintenance.
I think the fact that the top half isn't touching the bottom half of the tower is our first clue for that, yes?
Hobby is being stealthy with a 27 stealth check. Mech has rolled a natural 20 for something. Mech, what are you doing?
I'm trying to understand from where I'm standing if that tower is going to come down if two Warforged go in at the same time.
Okay, well, that would be an Arcana check, and I can safely say that with a nat 20, even someone not trained in Arcana is going to be able to put 2 plus 2 together. So that is a wonderful roll to have made. So this tower looks incredibly old, and with the top half still hovering, the magic sustaining it is likely something that doesn't need to be renewed.
I think our power just flickered.
It did. Just a moment. Let me check something.
Oh, fun.
Go on, Crash. Don't worry. We're still on the grid. It's okay.
Okay, good.
As a robot from the far-flung future that has gone back in time, you have encountered power sources that were self-renewing. You have encountered power sources that needed renewing and refueling in some way, shape, or form. Your best guess from the visual cues that you've picked up is unless you see other signs, the magic in this tower is self-sustaining, and what is up is not going to come down unless somebody does something horribly wrong or horribly right. It really depends on the situation and who's asking.
Mm-hmm.
But it would take active involvement in that change. It's not going to come down just because it's been up for a while.
Oh, checks.
It was not a nat 1. That's a 4.
That's a 4.
Maybe I could give Tex a hand investigating.
With a 25.
With a 25. Still not a nat 20, but that's a +3 and a +8. So, yeah.
Sorry, what was Ellie saying?
I just wanted to see if I could tell whether the damage to the door was neglect or damage. Violence.
If it was violence,
but
it wasn't extreme violence. Like you are aware of the kind of violence that would take a door off its hinges. You are very, very familiar with this. You also know how to bounce off a door, but that hasn't happened in a while, so I don't know why I bring it up. So But these doors appear to have like there's like scrub brush and stuff that are growing up around the front door that's open. So whatever happened quite some time ago. With Cavill's roll of 25,
The lights.
you are still not finding very obvious signs of assault. Salt spray, yes. Ocean salt, certainly. Assault, no. Battery, that depends on what's powering the tower. Again, I'm here all week. Everything okay?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I just had Lee checking in about the power flicker. Do we have power or are we on battery?
Okay.
We have a house battery. Sorry about that.
Sweet.
Little distraction.
Well, that is useful information for you to be aware of. So, I am not going to move your characters from one floor to the next for most of this because they didn't give me enough floors on this map for a tower of this size. So I'm going to say that most of the floors on the lower level appear to have weathered many storms, but not well.
Oh.
There's a lot of rocks that I won't say the rocks are missing. They're right there, but the builders probably wanted them over there.
Like as part of the wall.
Also, there appears to be 3 adventurers and 1 non-adventurer who have moved a bunch of rocks in order to make a chimney, and they're cooking up some mushrooms or something. I don't know. Oh wait, that's a different game. My games are 75% references to other games, and I am okay with this.
Yeah.
We'll find out how they're doing next Friday. There's very little that you find that looks like it's even close to being salvageable. There's some tattered rags hanging from walls that look like they might have been fine tapestries at some point, but they're definitely not now. They got mildewed, they got mold, they started to just fall to pieces in clumps of rotting heaps on the ground. They weren't torn apart. This tower's been standing for a very long time.
In humidity. And apparently, they could make the tower stand, but they could not put in the climate control.
And the lower floors don't appear to have windows. But
there's a big hole in one of them.
When enough stones fall out of the walls, that doesn't really matter.
Hobby's just going to sneak up until we get to the rope ladder.
All right. I will say you make it there.
With that 27.
You make it there with very little effort. You occasionally have to step around large piles of rock or just step over them if you are a 7-foot-tall murder bot, as 2 if you are.
I should probably be doing checking for traps as well. How do I check for traps?
That would be investigation.
Aha! I knew there was a reason I had investigation with some... No, I don't think I will.
A is being super stealthy with the 26, and let's roll his investigation. Well, their investigation. Just for giggles.
Is getting the investigation. Yes.
A doesn't find traps. A finds any minor inconvenience. So A is...
Probably because Hobby stepped in a puddle and now she hates everything. Her foot is wet. Shake, shake, shake. Step.
And,
shake, shake, shake.
And this toe is wet.
Shake, shake,
and
shake.
this toe is wet. And this toe is wet.
It's very distracting.
A is pointing out wet rocks. Yes, Cavill, cast prestidigitation. The toe beans are no longer damp. Thanks once again to Hobby's adopted sibling.
Hobby will be thanking A for pointing out the damp rocks because A is clearly better at this right now than Hobby because Hobby's fur is distracting. It is wet.
And like a loose pebble
and this fur is
that you might slip on, or that small piece of driftwood that if you step on it, it'll make a loud cracking sound. A is pointing out each of these.
Obviously, what is happening is A is pointing them out and Hobby is clearing them so that they don't inconvenience the people following behind. They are making a good team.
For those of you who are aware of tactics, none of this is necessary.
So, we're rogues. We do this. It's good practice.
Well, you're a rogue. A is a rouge.
Close enough.
That's what he says. Mm-hmm.
That is what they say, yes. So, yeah, I screwed it up earlier too. And they're my darned character, Dagnabbit.
Right.
It's because there was a change partway through, but we already know about that. Anyway, that was a fun game. Actually, that was a fun arc. Never mind. So you eventually get to the rope ladder that goes up, and everyone give me a
perception roll.
Yes.
Okay.
Perception.
And where did my Firefox windows go?
I do not know.
I made a perception roll, but it's not there. It's not showing up.
How do I find my passive perception on this sheet?
Maybe I should look at my
Firefox
sheet
crashed on me. Am I still streaming video? I don't believe I am. I am not. Yeah. All of my Firefox windows decided to close at once. That is not because I clicked on anything. I can tell you that.
Okay.
Because I wasn't clicking when they did that.
Yeah.
Does it help that my passive perception is a 22?
Yes.
I need to reload.
The GM will now need to remember that Cavil sees all. Which
it's not as good as my passive investigation.
Which that means you don't understand all, but you definitely see all. Mo, however,
well, my investigation is better.
You are burdened with terrible knowledge.
So
technical difficulties.
Is that right?
I'm rolling technical difficulties because I saw a 20, but it didn't. Didn't see it actually happen, and I try to do test, and I try to do reload the page, and it is not reloading.
Well, we've been playing for close to an hour, so I'm going to pause it here because I need to wait for Foundry to say, yes, you may log back in again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Button.
The buttons have been buttoned.
Yay!
The Velcro has been Velcroed. Right.
Yay!
The Neth is typing. All right. So you get to the rope ladder, and I did not see any of your perception rolls in chat because of the technical difficulties.
I got a 20, and I lost all the other people who got rolls that I saw before I reloaded.
Right.
24.
I got a 12.
Okay. So Mech is not going to notice this. Most people are going to notice this. As has been determined, Cavil's passive perception is 22. I didn't roll for A because Firefox crashed, but I should probably roll for A just to see.
Yeah.
Do we see what A sees? 18. A can see a lot. It's not a 20, but that's what he got. Anyway, stay tuned. Next session will be the musical number, followed by the beach episode. The beach episode will involve a Kraken.
I think we may have done that one before.
The Kraken. Yeah, we've done Krakens.
Yes.
We got Kraken.
You did. Also, it occurs to me that none of you can see the tower now because A can't see it. So I'm just going to move A over here.
I see it.
I can see it.
Okay, because for A, this was all grayed out.
Yeah, it's grayed out, but I can see the outline of it.
But, I mean, it was blacked out. I couldn't see anything.
Oh,
okay. Got it.
Which meant what I was streaming also was not showing the wizard tower. And that makes it not very useful as a visual aid.
Indeed.
Yes. So you are up to the rope ladder part, and what everyone but Mech notices is that, this high up, wind is pretty much a constant. And it is very windy up here. It's heckin' windy even. There's a fox that's just like, its neck is sort of scrunched up from the... No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not canon. Anyway, what is going on is that rope is not moving.
Is it a ladder or is it just a rope?
It's a ladder.
Yay.
A is already 3 rungs up, and the ladder is not moving. It is not moving like it is windy.
Is the wind blowing you, A?
Yes.
Hang on tight.
Hey, when A says observe, they take their feet off of the lower rungs at the same time, and they go horizontal.
Oh.
Not as kids. We had one of those push go round things that we could push very, very fast. It was not slow, and if you hung on to the parts that you were supposed to hold on to, for stability, and let your feet go up, then yeah, you could in fact just be clinging as you were being whipped around by us kicking with our feet real hard. So, yeah, I know that pose.
Well, anyway, I rolled an 11 athletics check for A. A cannot unhorizontal themselves.
Uh-oh.
Hobby is going to swarm up the ladder. Hobby will swarm up the ladder, and while holding on with 3 limbs and possibly her tail, she will help A get their feet back on the rungs.
Imagine, if you will, A is the lever.
Push.
Thank you.
Don't worry about it. You kept me from stepping in like 12 puddles.
13.
That's like 12.
A continues to climb the rest of the way up. Now, it's worth noting, the rope ladder, you could argue that the sides are pulled tight because maybe the upper half of the tower is trying to go up more, so the ropes are pulled really tight. But the rungs have a sag, as if it's just a regular rope ladder. They're still not moving.
Do they shift when we climb on it?
No.
Huh.
They do not move at all. There is no flex. There is no give.
It's like it's static in time or something.
I would like to note something.
The bard
If
plays a note.
Just for the pun, yes. If the extremely paranoid, apparently for good reason, Marwood is here, then he will probably not appreciate it if we fight whatever defenses he might have here. So who wants to be invisible?
You can do
I
that.
can already be mostly invisible because I'm a very good rouge. So I would suggest one of the 7-foot-tall walking murder bots.
I think both of the 7-foot-tall walking murder bots.
Ooh, that's better.
Invisible is good, but I'm fine with sneaking. Because, after all, murder bots.
By the way, I'm just
Chadrick here and coming in?
I don't think we have a Chadrick.
Okay.
Chadrick can show up with
there,
member services.
just off camera.
So I do need to stealth him.
You could argue that Chadrick is just off camera enough that you are unable to cast the spell. There was a porta potty right over there.
Oh, that's where he goes. Yep.
Mhm.
Every time.
By the way, I'm keeping the previous stealth checks that were made for Hobby and A rather than making people re-roll over and over again, because also I don't want to keep re-rolling for A over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to cast invisibility on the 7-foot-tall robots and myself.
Okay.
I would prefer not to be invisible.
Oh, okay. In that case, I will cast that at 3rd level and not make Tex invisible.
Okay. So that is what takes place. And you have solved my rope puzzle by climbing the ladder, because ladder.
Yeah.
Okay. So that brings you up to another ruined floor, followed by another mostly ruined floor, but this one has an outside door, which leads to a large, flat... If this was a modern game, I would say helicopter landing pad.
Oh. I mean...
But it's just
a
large, flat area.
Obviously, this is where you have your dragons land. Or your floating things.
There's some pottery shards along the side. Maybe there were some potted plants. If you you know how people will have trees in very, very large pots? It's that size of pottery. But everything that was here at some point has been shattered and scattered.
Did it ever have railings?
Give me an investigation check.
Okay, let me open my character sheet and roll my investigation. 13?
You don't see any now. Whether that's an aftermarket adjustment or it wasn't ever designed to have railings. You are unsure.
Wizards. We should probably keep going. I don't see any Marwoods here.
A puts down a piece of pottery that they were looking under. I mean,
is it pretty pottery?
Polymorphed before. No, it's like a flat gray.
True. We can come back here after we keep looking up the top.
All right. You go up a few more ruined floors. You find that you get up to the part that's not at the very top, but close to it, where you see that other side structure on it. And
the other balcony.
Yes. Well, there's a balcony, but there's also an auxiliary tower stuck to the side of this tower. And it
extra rooms.
Yes, it does have additional rooms. One of them was very clearly a library. It is empty. Well, not completely empty. There's some things that used to be bookcases, thoroughly ruined. There's a few moldy covers. The pages have long since deteriorated beyond salvation. Mending will not help you here. Neither will prestidigitation. Possibly prestidigitation will make there be fewer books. Not nearly as many books as what would have been stored here. You're looking at remnants that were considered not worth taking when the previous occupant left, perhaps. And you find some spaces that look like they were like living quarters. That spot there was probably a kitchen. There appears to be some remnants of plumbing. There's what would have been a sink. That's also been smashed. A very large rock came out of the ceiling. And it is right below where the sink would have been.
Oh, dear.
Yes. Yeah, everything in this tower has been destroyed, even the kitchen sink. I'm here all week. And Cavil, you have a passive perception over 20. Does anyone else have a passive perception over 20?
I don't think so.
How do I tell?
15. It's the number next to the plus.
Oh, 15. How do I get passive sleight of hand?
Instinctive reflexes, I guess?
I have passive stealth of 19.
I could see passive sleight of hand for noticing that someone was picking your pocket.
Oh. Is that what we're supposed to roll on? Sleight of hand?
No.
Okay.
Oh, wait, passive perception.
And
what was the passive I'm supposed to get again?
14.
Right. No. Oh,
I was
passive
asking
perception
that over 20.
says 20.
Oh,
Yeah, I got 20 exactly on my per. My investigation is 15. That's what it is.
So your passive perception is also 20.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
My passive investigation is 15. I got that wrong.
My passive investigation is 26.
I'm just sneakier about it. You're the one wearing the purple Converse.
I'm not going to say that Mo may have been using Cavil's brain due to their link as patron and warlock as like a backup computer for problem solving. But Mo may have been doing that. Mo's just sitting in his back office looking at his accounting work and okay, what's 587 divided by 13.2%? Like, thank you, Cavil. What was the compound interest of this particular financing scheme from 2 years ago? Thank you, Cavil. Didn't like Cavil at first, but things are progressing. Things getting better. There are some perks. Still using the Book of Shadows like it's a Google search engine. Has not figured that out yet.
That's because when he writes a question, eventually Cavil looks at it and tries to answer the question. Therefore...
The best part is, Mo does know whatever Cavil knows. Therefore, Mo is aware that Mo has not figured this out. Mo is aware that Mo is using this wrong. Mo is like me playing GURPS. I know I barely know how to do it, but you're there to walk me through it, and I'm grateful.
I forgot to do a long... Can I do a long rest since I forgot to do it last time? I assume we got one.
You haven't used any abilities that would require a long rest since then, so pressing it now would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
All right, so Hobby and Cavil, both of you hear a sound from outside and further down, but not so far away that it's like all the way down. Your first guess is that large flat platform. And there's little bits. Like Cavil, you're probably floating in the air, so you don't feel the vibration that goes with the sound. You just hear it. Hobby, you feel it a little bit. Cavil, you see like a few bits of pottery shards move just like a fraction of a millimeter. Little bits of dust puff up a little bit. Not a whole lot. The average person wouldn't notice this. But when you've got a passive perception of 20 or higher, the DM has to throw you a bone now and then.
Remember how I said I thought dragons could land on that big old platform? Yeah. Something just landed on that big old platform. Heavy. Thump.
I think you're right.
Do we go up? Do we wait here? Or do we go down to see what just landed?
Well, I think we should go up.
X, mech, A.
Well, if we do continue up the tower, maybe we'll find who we're looking for.
I'm moving you all together so I can drag you all at once to the right level.
That's fine.
Naturally, by clicking on you, I can no longer see the correct level.
Oh, no.
Because I can only see what you can see.
Mm-hmm.
But you can drag us. You can still drag us.
I can drag you to the correct level, yes. You are Kool-Aid Manning it through multiple floors. So you continue to go up, and now you are where you are. The central staircase goes up again. You can see the large hole in the wall that is, it looks like claw marks on what's left of the floor there for this particular hole. They might not be claw marks. There's other things that can create things that look like claw marks. But those look like claw marks.
People keep saying that Marwood, that there was a dragon impersonating Marwood.
Malathone.
Are we sure Marwood was? Are we sure that Marwood wasn't a dragon too?
Well,
No.
if Marwood is a powerful wizard, then Marwood could be a dragon if Marwood wanted to be a dragon.
There is that. I mean, one of the kobolds on the moon is a gold dragon.
Blink.
You didn't know that?
No.
How much
No
do
one
I
told
know
me.
that nobody else here knows? Why am I the one
We're
given
from
this
the
position?
future.
Yeah, well,
Their character.
Because we're
A
from
points
the
at Mac.
future, and we're from the future.
I missed something in there.
I broke the fourth wall and had A say it was their character and point directly at Mech.
Oh, that's accurate. Yeah, that character
That's
is
not
my
canon,
character.
but that's canon. Yes, and it was Ellie's fault.
Kind of.
No, not kind of. Definitely Ellie's fault,
Okay. Yeah.
which made it better.
Yes.
A does not actually say that part, of course, but
Of course.
Yeah.
yes.
75% references to other games. So,
As I was saying, in character, because we're from the future, and because we're from the future.
oh, like the locksmith. Never mind.
Yes.
If you're from the future, wouldn't you know more?
No, we're far enough from the future that a lot of stuff got turned into like legends and things.
Oh.
Do you
also
know how
half
people
test
sing
answers.
So quiet? Do you know how people sing I'm so quiet anymore? It was a lullaby. I'm so quiet, sleepy baby. I'm so quiet, little rogue.
No. It has like 5 different people playing the drums.
I know that here, but by the time I heard it, it was a lullaby.
The backup dancers are zombies.
Doesn't have backup dancers. It has your parent holding you and walking you around and singing I'm so quiet, go to sleep.
I assure you that's not how it's supposed to be.
I love that this is canon.
Well, I assure you that it changed. Therefore, no, we don't know what's going on here a lot of the time.
Well, I was about to say a thing, but I don't think I should. I'm going to look out this hole.
Good idea.
Don't fall
Hey,
off.
I see a hole.
Okay.
Is it a hole in the correct direction to see the lower level and whether we've got a dragon landed on it? Or an airship?
No, it's a hole in the lower level.
And anyone who goes to the hole in the wall to check can see that, in fact, there is a roughly circular hole near the center of that large platform that wasn't there when you were looking at it before.
So we've got things dropping rocks on us from orbit now?
I hope not.
Or there's some kind of illusion that keeps us from seeing what's actually...
But the illusion is letting us see through. Or something.
Well, we went into the...
Maybe the hole was there before and it's a good thing we didn't go exploring very far on that thing?
It didn't feel wobbly.
No, but if there was a hole there, it might have been a trap hidden by an illusion. I swear I felt things shake, so new damage?
It sounds like an awfully large amount of magic.
Cavill's passive scores would make Cavill be deducing that it was likely the sound you heard was that of an impact.
Yes, something's dropping rocks on us. Or other projectiles.
Let's get back in the center and go up. Sneakily.
Sounds like a plan.
A begins humming a tune, which A will insist is the true tune for I'm So Quiet. It's not one that any of you have heard before. Actually, no, that's not true. Cavill's a bard. Cavill's heard it before, but it's attributed to an entirely different song with different lyrics.
Oh, no.
Who's going first up the stairs?
I will.
Me.
Okay, you will.
Okay. The not invisible Warforged goes up the stairs.
Right.
Shouldn't you let one of us check for traps ahead of you?
Oh,
If you step on
by
a
all
trap,
means.
if you step on a trap and start plummeting down the tower, make sure to
Be sure to, and then you stopped.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I was checking. We had another power fluctuation, but we are still on the grid. Let me update. Okay. Right. What was I doing? Are you okay, Yo?
Oh no, internet.
Oh, interesting question. Okay, that's still going. Let me see if I can get to. Yep.
Uh-oh.
Probably timed out.
Could be.
Sorry, we're having kind of rain, snow, ice storm. There you are. You're back.
Yes, the Wi-Fi returned.
Good.
I have returned.
What was I doing? I was rolling.
You were looking for traps.
All right.
I am bad at investigation today. Can I use my passive investigation of 15 instead?
I will say that you do not see any traps.
Okay.
That is a statement.
You're right.
That is the only statement that can be made in response to that terrible roll of a 9.
A also does not see any traps.
Oh, good. With a 19. Much better.
Yes. And with that, I'm assuming that Tex goes up the stairs.
Uh-huh.
Tex, you go up the stairs to find that there is a wall of force between you and a very old-looking elf in red robes. The elf is pointing a stick at you.
Stay right there.
Marwood, I presume.
So you
Marwood, I
are here to
presume.
get me.
I'm not here to get you. I represent a gnome who's looking for you. And apparently has been for quite some time.
So the gnomes are after me then.
Do you know a Fiddle Punch Iron Wrench?
Fiddle Punch? Why, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
I like how
I
you'll just
believe
slide
he's
and
worried
sneak
about
in.
you.
Yeah.
How do I know you really got sent by Fiddle Punch?
I play back a recording of some of what he says. I don't know if I have the ability to do it, but maybe.
You know what? I'm going to rule of cool this. Give me a performance check.
Performance check? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can figure that out.
It is right below
Performance.
perception on your character sheet.
Okay.
You've got +1 in
performance.
it.
Oh, hey. All right. There we go. Let's see what we got. What did we get? A 9?
You play a somewhat staticky recording that is a little garbled, but sounds vaguely like Fiddle Punch might be talking into a tin can and being recorded by a microphone that somebody stepped on once.
Well, I am basically a tin can, so
I was sipping my water.
I'm sorry.
There is another possibility here.
Contact.
Well, if you want to know if Fiddle Punch sent us, you could send him a sending and ask.
Good idea.
Nice try, but this tower is too heavily warded. I can't contact anyone if I want to.
You could let us all go down to the bottom of the tower and step out for a moment and contact him?
You know the wall of force is on this side of the staircase, right? Not the side you're on.
You don't have a balcony?
I got a giant hole in the floor.
That can't be good.
We didn't do that.
But I know you didn't. It was like that when I found this place.
Question.
Anyway.
Is this tower currently under attack? Because someone was dropping heavy objects through it.
Thought that was you.
I kind of thought that was you.
Why would I be dropping rocks at the tower? I'm trying to make it fly into space.
Well, there was a hole out on your biggest balcony that wasn't there before.
Well, I don't need that part anyway. I'm just taking this top part.
Nice to know.
I'm working on a variation of Liamon's tiny hut, but making it mobile.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They're going to get to talking shop. Uh-oh.
Marwood's tiny rocket. I'm still working on a name. That might not be the first one.
Where are you going to take the rocket? To where?
The stars, obviously. Didn't you see they're all different now? They weren't like this before.
I didn't catch what was that.
I didn't
They
catch all
weren't
of
like
that.
this before.
Before that, where he's going to take it? Something
stars.
obviously.
Oh.
The stars are different?
You didn't see?
I saw when everything caught on fire in the sky.
Yes. And then the stars changed. I need to find out why. And we're too far away
Did
down
someone
here.
tell us in this? I can't remember if anyone told us in this campaign what happened.
No.
No.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Okay.
We don't know.
The players are aware that
Right.
there was the week of fire, and then what was perceived as stars was replaced by something different. And now, if you go off far enough into what's referred to as wild space, you eventually get into the astral plane. Because the thing that was called the phlogiston in 2nd edition Spelljammer was used to blow up a large portion of the astral plane intentionally by the current big bad of this campaign. It's fine. It's all fine. Anyway, these characters don't know that.
All right. So
If you ask a few kobolds, the years are
we
turning away.
see if we can figure out who's trying to drop rocks through your tower, and then we can worry about how to get Fiddle Punch here so that he can vouch for himself.
Would you like to hire a ragtag batch of adventurers to find out what's trying to drop rocks on your rocket?
I don't put a lot of faith in ragtag bands of adventurers.
What
They tend to work for the Empire. Never cared for the Empire.
empire?
The Empire, you know, the large government that runs the whole continent.
What?
How do you not know the Empire?
Easily?
They seem to have fallen.
What? I thought you said rocks were
Circulean
falling.
Empire.
I'm sorry, what was that, Tex?
The Circulean Empire.
What other empire? That's the Empire. Not enough space on the planet for two of them.
That has not been a going concern for some time.
Really?
How long have you been holed up in here?
Year and a half, maybe.
Huh.
Where's my toast?
Where did you leave it?
Did you eat it?
Well, Fiddle Punch made it for me for breakfast the other day.
Oh,
I
dear.
can't finish it.
Oh my.
Oh,
Would you like to come
no, that was a while
with
ago.
us?
Um,
Yeah.
Hobby, Cavil, you see a hand reach up from the giant hole in the floor behind Marwood.
Oh, no.
It is a metal.
Behind you.
Look behind you.
I like that I can make characters spin.
Yep.
How big a hand are we talking?
Oh, Tex-sized, as opposed to Texas-sized, which is very different.
Yes.
Well, okay, not that different.
A hand that would not look out of place on Tex?
A hand that would not look out of place attached to Tex's arm.
Okay. As opposed to a hand the size of a very large Warforged.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm looking up a detail. I need to make sure. I don't need to make sure I do this right because I'm the GM. I can break whatever rules I want to. But I am looking this up because I don't feel like breaking this particular rule. Okay. I am correct. Okay. Marwood casts another spell and therefore has to drop concentration on the Wall of Force and instead appears to be in a bubble.
Oh.
Marwood's
That's
allergies
fair.
improved greatly.
Considering it's such a humid place here with probably no, assorted molds and mildews, that's got to be good.
Well, it's fine. You're high enough up that you've all pretty much had to be yelling over the air currents. Yeah. Any allergens are blown away, except for the ones inside the globe of invulnerability, as they start to slowly drift down and land on top of Marwood's ropes. But
Oh dear.
the hand pulls itself up, and you see another murder bot.
Oh.
It's another juror.
I draw my weapon.
Wait a minute. Oh, great. It's one of them. Should I be
There
making
is
another stealth
There is a
roll?
music sting, and then there is a wipe, and you're all in a different scene, bobbing back and forth as combat music plays. Hey, this is Crash coming to you from After the Fact. So when we were recording this, you may have noticed earlier on, Firefox crashed on me, and there was a little bit of a glitch where a few of the syllables from me were wiped out. It was a graphics card issue. This has been resolved since then. However, at this point, things crashed spectacularly for me again, and we were just about to start combat, and I was thinking, we've been playing for a significant amount of time, let's just save the combat for next session, and that's exactly what we did. However, that meant that we didn't get to record our outros, so here I am giving them to you now. So, anyone want to plug something? Why yes, Eo's mom writes books at elizabethmccoy.com. It amuses me greatly that it started with Eo just wanting to plug their mom, which is, nice and everything, but then Eo's mom became a member of the group. So now we talk about Eo's mom in third person, including when Eo's mom says it, but never mind about that. Also, Jen writes at bookofjen.net and podcasts at shatteredsoulstone.com. Bookofjen.net is a smorgasbord of writing things. Shattered Soulstone is specifically about Diablo and Blizzard related stuff. So Activision news, things like that, that goes in there as well. Our website is aaronbsmith.com/cogwheel. That's where I put all these podcasts. If you want to listen to us for any of the stuff we do, that's where I would go. If you want to subscribe to us on the Fediverse, you can go to is.aaronbsmith.com/@cogwheel. If you want to throw money at us, it's patreon.com/cogwheelgaming. And there you would join other illustrious patrons, including Ellie, Shanshan, Walter, and patron emeritus Cindy. And until next time, this is Crash saying, well, I can't scry this area, I can't teleport into this area, and, that's fascinating. I think I'll drop a juror on it. Good night, everybody.